1918 was one of the most dramatic years in human history. It marked the end of World War I, the deadliest conflict the world had ever seen, and the beginning of a deadly global pandemic, the Spanish flu, which claimed more lives than the war itself. Let's break down this powerful year, month by month, and uncover how 1918 changed the course of history. January 1918. War fatigue grows. As 1918 began, World War I had dragged on for over 3 years. Millions had died, and both soldiers and civilians were exhausted. Europe was in ruins, and the war showed no clear end in sight. Meanwhile, in the US, President Woodrow Wilson prepared a bold peace proposal. February 1918, Wilson's 14 points. President Wilson addressed Congress with his 14 points, a vision for a peaceful post-war world. His plan emphasized self-determination, free trade, and the formation of a League of Nations to prevent future wars. Though idealistic, it set the tone for the coming peace negotiations. March 1918. Germany's final offensive begins. Germany launched its spring offensive, a massive push on the Western Front. With Russia out of the war, German forces moved west. They advanced quickly, hoping to win before American troops arrived in large numbers. At the same time, the first cases of a mysterious flu appeared among soldiers in Kansas, USA. April 1918, Spanish flu, spreads quietly. The flu virus, later known as the Spanish flu, spread in army camps across Europe. It was called the Spanish flu, not because it started in Spain, but because Spain, being neutral, freely reported the outbreak. Governments at war censored news of the illness to keep morale high. May 1918, fighting and flu. Intensified German offensives continued with heavy losses on both sides. Meanwhile, the flu spread rapidly through trenches, hospitals, and cities. Still, the disease was downplayed, seen as a temporary nuisance. June 1918. Allies hold the line. German attacks pushed close to Paris, but Allied forces, now reinforced by fresh American troops, held the line. The tide of war was beginning to turn. In the background, the flu infected thousands of troops, weakening armies on all sides. July 1918. Turning point of the war. The Second Battle of the Marne became the turning point. Allied forces launched a successful counterattack, pushing German troops back. Germany's hopes of winning the war were fading fast. August 1918, the 100 Days Offensive. The Allied 100 Days Offensive began, a series of attacks that would eventually end the war. Germany was retreating on multiple fronts. At the same time, the second wave of the Spanish flu began, far deadlier than the first. September 1918. Death from all sides. The flu now killed thousands daily, hitting young, healthy adults the hardest. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Military strength was reduced. Civilians and soldiers alike were dying, not just from bullets, but from infection. October 1918. Germany crumbles. Facing defeat, Germany requested an armistice. Internal protests and revolution were spreading. The Kaiser's rule was collapsing. Meanwhile, the Spanish flu peaked in many countries, killing tens of millions globally. November 1918, war ends. On November 11, 1918, at 11 a.m., the armistice was signed. World War I officially ended. In Germany, Kaiser Wilhelm II abdicated and fled to the Netherlands. People celebrated peace, but around the world, the pandemic still raged. December 1918, a world forever changed. As the world tried to recover from war, the Spanish flu continued into early 1919. By the end of the pandemic, an estimated 50 million people had died, far more than the 16 million lost in the war. Societies had changed forever. Key figures involved: Woodrow Wilson, US President, and peace visionary Kaiser Wilhelm II, Emperor of Germany, who abdicated David Lloyd George, British Prime Minister, General Ferdinand Foch, Supreme Allied Commander, millions of unnamed doctors, nurses, and soldiers who battled both war and disease. Historical significance: 1918, marked the end of World War I, redrawing global borders. It laid the groundwork for future international cooperation and future conflict. The Spanish flu revealed the dangers of global pandemics and underprepared health systems. Socially, it led to shifts in public health, government accountability, and civil rights. Technological and social context: 1918 saw the widespread use of chemical warfare, machine guns, and tanks. Wartime censorship delayed awareness and response to the flu. The crisis reshaped medicine, health policy, and how governments communicate with the public. Like, share, and subscribe to uncover the stories behind the years that shaped our world. Comment below. Which part of 1918 do you think had the biggest impact? The end of the war or the rise of the pandemic?